Stream's going. Bop. All right. It's Wednesday, October 31st, 2018. I'm Rim.
I'm Pusheen the Cat.
And this is Geek Nights. It's an anniversary of us starting Geek Nights, I guess.
13, 18 minus 5.
It's been a long time we've been doing Geek
The
Nights.
unlucky 13th year of Geek Nights.
And tonight we're talking about the Dragon Prince. Good God, we've been doing Geek Nights a long time.
All right, that's it. We're done.
Just stop. Just drop the mic, walk away.
Oh, good. I can go home.
And if I go into the archive and go all the way back, October 31st, 2005, we did our first episode called Arguing Science. And then the next day, we did an episode called Video Game Argument.
Okay.
So you can see where how we've evolved over time.
Not at all.
We don't argue that much on the show anymore. We argue before the show because you never want to do any of the topics.
That's right, because your topics are bad.
My topics are
You should
great.
feel bad.
I got great topics. All right, you got any news, son?
I do have a news. So, you know, there's a lot of great animated series that have been made by Channel Frederator or whatever they call themselves. They're like all these different names. I don't know. The Red Robot Head. Anyway.
Yep.
Shows like Bravest Warriors and Bee and Puppycat. Those are the main two. All the other ones are lesser. Everyone, except for the one with the dolphin that goes. I forget what that one's called. But anyway, for a while they just posted episodes on YouTube and it was great. And then they like moved all their stuff to like some other weird services, and I couldn't like Verve. I don't fucking know how the hell to watch their content, so I stopped watching their content.
I mean, I'm at the point where already, like most content I watch, not this stuff, just other things.
It's like Is it Cartoon Hangover or is it Frederator? It's like there's only different names. Anyway, the point is they now have come back to YouTube, so you can get full episodes of Bee and Puppycat on YouTube, which is good because I fucking kickstarted them. I should be able to, I should be able to see them. I paid the money. But also new episodes.
Oh, finally.
Finally. It's not like, oh, we're working on them. It's like, no, we waited long enough. How long have we been waiting? A long ass time.
Yeah.
We waited long enough. Now they're here. Our patience paid off. There's more Bee and Puppycat imminently.
I was wearing my bee pin today, coincidentally.
Uh-huh. So
I do not have a Puppycat pin. I only have a bee pin.
Yeah, if you have not seen any Bee, Puppycat, Brave Warriors, or other Cartoon Hangover / Frederator / whatever other names their studios have, they're all mixed up. They make good stuff, and you don't need a television with cable to see it. You can see it on YouTube.
Cartoon Hangover Select on Verve. Watch now on Verve.
Yeah, those are probably older videos that when they were still, I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much, I feel like
I'm not going on Verve.
I'll go to Netflix, I'll go to Crunchyroll, go to Amazon Video, and if it's not in any of those places, usually I end up on the Pirate Bay next.
Oh, so that reminds me of another news that I was just now that I didn't include in our news list because it was from like a week ago.
All right, I'll type it in. What is it?
There was an alliance between, I don't know if people know this, Crunchyroll and Funimation had an alliance.
Oh yeah, that's actually kind of bad news.
And this alliance allowed some significant amount of Funimation shows that Funimation had the rights to in America to be on Crunchyroll, and I think possibly vice versa. So that you didn't really need to pay for Funimation. Everyone just paid for Crunchyroll. And
yeah, I paid for Funimation like once, and then I stopped because it wasn't worth it, and I just went Crunchyroll.
Right. The point is, this alliance is officially over. There's, I guess, some date in the future where some list of shows that I wasn't able to find yet will no longer be on Crunchyroll because those are Funimation shows, which means
that's bad news because most anime fans are not paying for two separate anime streaming services.
This is right. So also
plus Netflix, which also has anime.
Right. So also there's a website Filmstruck, which I was paying for, but no one else was, which had all old movies.
And now we know what happens when no one else pays for it.
And it's basically there was this idea that and Drama Fever also shutting down the Korean drama. Right. Basically, there are all these streaming services that were trying to serve content niches, like, hey, you only care about watching old movies. Don't pay for Netflix that has everything, a little bit of everything. Pay for this that has tons of the one thing that you want. But the problem with this is much like cable a la carte cable TV.
Yep.
Is it's like, how many fucking channels am I going to pay for? It'd be one thing if they were like $1 each. I could pay for like 10 of these freaking services.
Well, I guess it's a little worse than that in that
But no, each one of these services wants to charge you an arm and a leg. So
I have a limited amount of time, irrespective of money. So even if money was not a factor and all these services were free, I'm just, like, most fans of things, including me, don't have time to watch everything anyway. So whichever
even
streaming,
though I pay for Crunchyroll, I only watch maybe like less than 10 shows on total series on Crunchyroll per year.
So whatever,
and that's a good value.
Whatever services I go to, I'm pretty much just going to watch something on those services, and it is shockingly rare that I will ever start with a show I want to watch and then go figure out what service it's on.
Well, even when I do start with a show I want to watch, I'm not going to subscribe to like another service just because like I'm already on Netflix. Right? What I used to do is I used to be like, all right, I'm on Hulu watching the Hulu shows. Cancel. Netflix watching the Netflix shows. Cancel. Now Crunchyroll watching Crunchyroll shows. Cancel. And always be one at a time.
Yep.
But that was a pain in the ass. So
I just keep Netflix and Crunchyroll and nothing else exists.
right. It's like I'll pay for some amount of content.
And I'll buy stuff. I'll just buy like videos on Amazon.
That's not bad, but it's way too expensive.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not that expensive.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, you know what I bought there? Like I bought a lot of the later seasons of Adventure Time there because it just
How
works.
much were they each?
I don't even remember.
Yeah, okay, Uncle Moneybags over here.
It ends up being, I'm willing to pay a couple bucks an episode for a thing.
That's a lot for a 15-minute Adventure Time episode.
There's no other way to make money making content, though.
That's not my problem. Anyway, the point is, I'm only going to pay for so many services. So if you start putting less and less content per service, and if the services that I pay for don't have enough content on them, I'll cancel those and just go back to the high seas. So like if there's a show I want to watch now and it's not on Crunchyroll because it's a Funimation show,
well, there was,
and if it turns out there's not enough shows on Crunchyroll and I'm hardly using it, cancel and
there were multiple articles recently where there's a lot of evidence that because of the increasing fracturing of the streaming like landscape, piracy, which was actually like really bottoming out to like near nothing, has surged again.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, not gonna lie, I went and just downloaded a bunch of The Good Place from the Pirate Bay a little while ago because I couldn't figure out how to watch it otherwise.
We're not just pirates for Halloween.
Yeah. So the saddest thing with the Funimation thing in particular, you know why this is happening specifically?
Yeah, because they're jerks.
No, because of Sony's acquisition.
Oh, Sony fucks everything up.
It's always Sony. Sony is the one that, like, always, if there's a bad decision to be made, it's always Sony.
Mm-hmm.
So, quote, according to a memo sent to staff from Funimation president Fukunaga, the decision was made as a direct result of the company being acquired by Sony Pictures Television.
Mm-hmm.
Sony really wants to directly monetize and is going to do a bad job.
Instead of splitting up and like basically spoiling the water and ruining,
lean on the central service like Crunchyroll.
Instead of ruining your service and the other person's service, why don't you just fucking buy Crunchyroll and merge Crunchyroll and Funimation into one anime-owning in America company that takes care of everything, and then you'll get all the money. The
funniest thing, you know who else is hurt by this? Because a lot of those Funimation shows are also on Verve.
Oh, the Verve.
So Verve is just going to die, I think, because nothing's going to be on Verve anymore.
I don't know. Who's paying for Verve?
I've never...
Oh, and there's another one like High Dive, right?
I've never even been on Verve's website.
And what the hell? What's High Dive then? I've heard of that. I don't know what it is.
I saw someone
assume
link
it's just
to it
another
once.
streaming service, right?
Verve is a digital... Oh, it launched in 2016, so it's like brand new.
It's not that... Yeah, it's not old.
And it bundles together several geek-related channels into... See, I feel like the business people making all these decisions just have no idea what consumers of media are like.
Netflix does.
Netflix is the only one. Crunchyroll, too. Crunchyroll knows what's up. Crunchyroll is like...
Why doesn't Netflix buy Funimation? Well, I guess Sony already bought it, so too late. But
yeah.
Netflix should just like buy Crunchyroll.
So this is kind of all bad news, but I think the result is just I'm not going to watch any Funimation anime.
And Amazon really fucked up with that. Remember they had the Prime anime special thing?
No, that was a bad...
That was also a fuck up.
That was a bad situation.
Of the same anime strike. That was a fuck up too.
Yep. So in some other news that came out of nowhere, if you follow Toby Fox on Twitter...
Who's that? I've heard that name.
Undertale guy.
Oh, okay.
He started tweeting a bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah, and then he put out a game that no one knew was coming.
Yeah, it's basically just Undertale 2, and it's just free. Just like download it and run it.
Okay.
So I don't know anything about it. I've avoided reading about it. I'm just gonna download this exe.
Can I play it without finishing Undertale 1?
Probably not. I feel like it might not resonate. I mean, you didn't even get past Papyrus.
Undertale 1 didn't resonate when I was playing it.
I don't understand how. I think Undertale is one of the better games ever made.
I think it's a crappy game maker RPG.
I don't know how you had such trouble getting by Papyrus.
I tried.
That's like
because I have no patience and I didn't.
But
give a
it's
shit.
just like a base, like it's a shmup. It's not hard. Just move the heart around.
I had no patience. I didn't give a shit.
But I beat Papyrus on like my second try. It's not hard.
I didn't care enough to try.
Okay, anyway, Undertale is a triumph, and if you need more Undertale, it appears that there is in fact more Undertale, and it's just here for you, and it's probably spooky, probably has some creepypasta based on the media that I saw around it, and all these cryptic tweets from someone at Undertale that Toby Fox was retweeting.
I definitely got to give credit, though, to doing one thing right, which is just don't keep... there's two ways that I think are the correct way to market media. A, keep your fucking mouth shut until it's 100% done, and then, boom, here it is, done. Right?
All right.
And way number 2, be 100% open with everything and say, I'm doing this. Give daily fucking reports and 100% engage with their community and keep no secrets. The standard operating procedure for just about everyone in all media is to hold your cards close to the chest, slowly reveal tiny bits of info and tease people, and then there's leaks, which could be fake or real, and then put release dates and then miss them, and then it's like, fuck it. Either be 100% open and tell your audience everything, or tell them fucking nothing and then surprise them. Those are your two choices that are good. If you do the in-between thing that most people do, you're doing it wrong, in the opinion of Scott.
So in a brief aside, because it's not really like animation or anime related other than very tangentially, because a big part of anime fan culture is conventions, and TwitchCon happened, and
TwitchCon is it's weird, right? Because Twitch is almost entirely a gaming thing, but it's pushing into like all these other avenues.
Yeah.
And they have like this, Digimon, Pokemon. They got all these anime marathons on there. They're like Crunchyroll partnerships on there, and there's tons of weebs in all the chats.
So I always ignore TwitchCon because I don't care like that. But so it made the news, and I actually paid attention to it
I watch
because
TwitchCon is bad.
As much as we we make fun of how a lot of anime cons are really, really badly run, AnimeCon people have a great amount of convention privilege compared to almost every other kind of convention.
Well, because gaming cons, right, developed to a certain point and then didn't progress, except PAX.
PAX
right?
and MagFest are like the only gaming cons that have progressed.
Right. Most gaming cons just stayed and kept doing their tiny thing and didn't try to grow. They just stayed where they were at.
But PAX and MagFest are sets of conventions where, as they grew, they did the things necessary to allow that growth to happen.
But anyway, anime cons have been around a long time, perhaps longer or as long as
they
gaming
grew
cons.
but did not change, and then a few of them changed.
Right, well, they tried to grow, many of them, right? And they learned and developed to some extent.
Like, look, Otakon.
Some did and some didn't, right?
Despite kicking us off the staff or telling them to mail the badges, they eventually started mailing the badges because it is objectively the right thing to do.
But the point is they developed over time. They tried to grow. They learned lessons, and they've had many years to get shit right. But, conventions like TwitchCon...
So TwitchCon, the reason it was in the news is that no one could get in because of quote-unquote unprecedented crowds, which, again, how are conventions messing this up? PAX has a number of people who can attend, and it's sold out, and that's it. No one's going to show up and think they can get in. Yet TwitchCon seems
Did
to
they
just...
not have, online registration with mailed badges?
No, so 1 million people showed up and couldn't get in.
1 million?
And, well,
That's the biggest
a lot of
convention
people.
ever.
Like, basically, because of a combination of security theater and poor planning, so many people couldn't get in that it was one of those convention disaster stories. They ended up, extending the hours of the con to, let people who couldn't get in earlier in the day.
What would happen during those extra hours? Did you invent more content?
No, which I don't understand, because there's not a lot of content at TwitchCon.
No, that's the thing. It's no matter how much I like Twitch, and I actually watch Twitch more and more, there's... I can't imagine what I would do at TwitchCon. Go to someone that I watch on Twitch, go see them sit on a panel and just answer questions.
So on one hand, it's
Like,
funny because they actually have more than I expected in some avenues. Like they have this little artist alley, and they have like
I guess there is an art. There are a lot of art streams on
yep,
Twitch where people
and there's
stream
like a
art
little
making.
tabletop area, and there's a little cosplay contest.
There is tabletop. streaming on
GDQ
Twitch.
has like an area set up.
They could do some RPG Acquisitions Inc. stuff. That's Twitch streaming.
They have like gaming and arcades and stuff, but they're all kind of small. But the problem is, there's not a lot of like actual other content. Like their panels, there aren't that many, and almost all of them are like meet and greet, like just a meet and greet.
The one thing that was happening sort of with adjacent to TwitchCon was the mini GDQ, which
Yep,
was actually quite excellent. and
GDQ
that's-
Express.
And that's I was surprised at how small the donation count went. I don't, even though people were watching it, but it was excellent.
But apparently, the problem wasn't
It
just
was like a distilled, like it was like all the best parts of a full GDQ without the slow parts. So it was like you wanted to watch the whole thing because every single event on the tiny GDQ was great.
So there were huge lines
like
to
a
get
greatest
in,
hits album.
and people couldn't get in, and there were huge lines to do anything at the cons. Even if you got in, you couldn't do anything.
Yep.
And there was all sorts of drama. And what's amazing is this isn't like anime cons, even when they're big, often don't have a lot of money or expertise. But Twitch is a real company.
You mean Amazon?
Yeah. Amazon is
a real
so
company.
Amazon is a real company.
Headed by the wealthiest person to ever live.
There are people who know professionally how to run events. They're perhaps called event managers.
Amazon runs many events. There are like all kinds of professional conferences. That
How
they
is
run for,
TwitchCon
like,
such
Oz
this
and
like
stuff.
goddamn amateur hour? Like the problem of too many people show up and you can't let them in, coupled with ridiculous security theater.
Has no one who works for Twitch ever been to any other conference or convention ever?
Yep. And what's worse is all the press about it. Like attendees of these cons who don't go to like PAXs or MagFest or the few good anime cons, like they expect and accept this bullshit, which is amazing to me. Like all the people who used to go to Otakon and wait 4 hours on Thursday to get their badges and couldn't even dream that there was a better way to do it, like mailing the
Most
badges.
people do not have imagination.
So the craziest things are a lot of the press say things like, I'm going to quote this article I'm going to link to. Every convention typically features long lines as fans are supposed to wait in security queues before entering.
That is
no,
that is not true at all.
One PAX has that problem, and they've actually really fought the city of Boston to not make it a problem.
And also, there's only lines if you want to do stupid shit. If you don't do stupid
Or
shit,
you want to
there's
do
no
like the biggest things, there usually isn't that much of a line because they're in giant theaters. And the things that tend to fill up where you would have to wait in a long line tend to be things that are in pretty small rooms, but there's room for people to do things and there's enough content to try to spread that load out. It bothers me how baby's first mistake happens at a con like TwitchCon.
Mm-hmm. And San Diego Comic-Con only has mega lines for like their infamous Hall D or whatever, Hall
Hall
because
H.
they don't clear the room. So there's people just constantly waiting to get in the room, and they let one person comes out. That's what I've heard in years past.
I don't know if they've changed it.
I've never been to San Diego Comic-Con. I never will go, so I don't know what it is like now. Someone can correct me if they know better, but that's the story I heard a few years ago, and I have not heard that it has changed.
Yep. But anyway, things of the day. So because it is the anniversary of Geek Nights, since we started on October 31st, 2005, one of the things today I'm going to link to is the first episode of Geek Nights that is public.
Great.
I'm not linking to the beta episodes. Those are buried behind the Patreon wall. But I'm going to link to the first episode of Geek Nights, and you will be shocked and disappointed if you click on that link.
Do not listen to that. I mean, you already shouldn't be listening or watching this right now.
Oh, yes, you should.
But if you are, you really shouldn't be listening to that. What is this? Do I have invited?
Think of it as an experience. You know what it's like?
Scott 13 years ago is not the same person.
You know what's funny?
He's a bad person.
Scott 13 years ago talks a lot about politics.
He's a bad person. 13-year-olds.
And you were convinced that Rumsfeld was going to get a war crimes trial. And
Should.
Oh, he should.
If
Absolutely
you make me president, he will.
Yeah.
So will a lot of other people.
But anyway, my
Even
real thing of the
people
day.
you think are good.
My real thing of the day, to segue from politics, is a 538 article that's very important. So, it is the ultimate Halloween candy power ranking.
How do they judge the power based on the sugar?
No, so what they did is
dollar per ounce.
they basically did an experiment where they pitted different candies against other candies in a here are two, pick the superior one type contest.
And they did this to a whole bunch of people to figure out which
Yep.
ones were the most.
8,371 unique IP addresses voted.
So Neko Wafer has low power.
So the whole
And,
ranking
like-
is here, and we have the full order. So number 1 is the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Oh, that was one of my guesses for a very valuable.
It won 84% of all its mashups.
Because I mean, it's so
Good.
I mean,
Oh, look, candy is garbage. I'm an adult.
a Reese's peanut
I
butter
like
cup
Reese's.
is a good candy.
Number 2
I
is
don't-
Reese's Minis.
Oh, just the small peanut butter.
Yeah.
They really broke it down, right?
81%, 81.9 Reese's Miniatures.
Okay, those are
And-
basically the same fucking thing.
So number 3 is Twix, which is disgusting.
disgusting garbage trash.
When I was caveat, when I was in middle school, I'd eat like 4 Twix bars a day.
Twix are poison. I could never eat one. No matter how young I was and addicted to sugar I was, Twix never tasted good.
So then Kit Kat, Snickers, Reese's Milky Way, Reese's stuffed
So-
with pieces, peanut butter. Seems like
So
peanut butter.
So basically, any of the full-on chocolate candies are powerful.
No, it's specifically chocolatey candies, mostly adjacent to peanut butter. It's
Peanut
all
butter
Reese's.
really good.
Reese's is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
I mean,
of
these
the
are all
top
these
10.
are dense, right? It's
Yeah.
like you get a Snickers, right? It's like you got some fucking caramel and some peanut in there, and some
But Milky Way is number 7, the least dense candy bar.
Milky Way is very dense.
Oh no, I'm thinking
Three
of Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeer is the non-dense one.
Three Musketeers is number 12.
I mean, it's still really fucking good. It's just
Yeah.
I used to buy Three Musketeer on purpose in
So,
the grocery checkout aisle.
I like Twix is okay, but Butterfinger
Ew.
reminds
That's worse than Twix.
the biting into a Butterfinger reminds me of the I imagine it
I never
tastes-
understood why Bart Simpson liked those because they were so nasty.
they taste like bile. That is what I would describe.
I think what it is that there's levels of peanut butter, right? The top level is obviously au naturel peanut butter.
Just
right?
eat it out of the bowl
that
with
they
a spoon.
that they make at the deli counter with some fucking peanuts and a roaster right behind in the grocery. That's the best. You can get it at like Publix in Florida, one of the only good things in Florida. That's like the top quality, like farmers market peanut butter is the top level, right? Where the oil separates. The second level is like grocery store real peanut butter from like Skippy or whatever, Peanut Peter Pan or, like it's real peanut butter, but it's, it's factory peanut butter, not real peanut butter. And then the next level is the Reese's peanut butter, which you can tell obviously tastes like fake peanut butter, but is still palatable and good, and it's sugary, so your body likes to eat it.
Yeah.
Any peanut butter below that, such as whatever the fuck is in Twix and Butterfinger and other garbage,
I would eat.
doesn't taste like peanut butter and is inedible.
So here's something. What do you think is at the bottom here?
Oh, Necco Wafer.
No. The bottom, let's see, is
Those hard old lady things.
Good and Plenty.
Yeah, that's bad.
Those are disgusting.
Yeah.
Boston Baked Beans.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Chiclets.
Oh, you mean, do they mean actual baked beans?
I imagine there's some candy called
Chiclets
Boston
are
Baked
okay,
Beans.
but they're just gum that runs out in 2 seconds. They're not bad, but it's like they're not.
Boston Baked Beans is a candy.
Never heard of it.
It looks like rabbit poop.
Okay.
Okay. I guess that's the thing. Super Bubble Jawbuster, Sugar Daddy,
Or like ginger.
Sugar Babies,
Yeah.
etc.
All these hard things that old ladies, the dots.
So anyway, this article in proper 538 style goes through like a pretty detailed analysis of the results with data, and it's fascinating. That is my Halloween thing of the day.
I have a non-Halloween thing of the day. So in the year 1987 or 88, when I was in kindergarten, for the first time in my life, I had access to a personal computer, the Apple II that was in the classroom, and on it was shit like, well, there was nothing on it except for the OS, the boot, but there were floppy disks next to it, 5 1/4-inch ones, and some of them had some number munchers or word munchers, but some of them had Turtle Graphics /logo, and that is where I programmed a computer for the first time. Someone who is a perhaps genius has created this web app. You can just go to this turtle.audio in your browser, and there it is. It's Turtle Graphics /logo. It operates, if you know how to operate Turtle Graphics or logo, you know how to operate this, except
If you just look at it, you can operate this.
you do not, well, you can vice versa also. But it is not used to make graphics. It is used to make audio, much like a Mario Paint. The line you draw controls the frequency of the notes you are making in the sequence. And then there's the you paint different colors onto your sequence to play different notes. And there you go. You have a music sequencer that you control via Turtle Graphics. It's really slick for being something in a web browser. It's way good. And I think in the past, I've had other things of the day that were basically musical tools in the browser. Like
we have a forum thread where people were making music.
There was one that was like a drum machine and one that was like a synthesizer. So I think I don't have the skills to do this, but I'm sure someone else has done it already. But it would be really cool if somebody went and collected all these different web-based synthesizing, drum machine sequencing, music making tools and used them all together to make. There was a Google Doodle that was a music tool once, I think.
Yep.
Right? Combine them together into a music rig to create an EDM song.
I guess the only trouble I have is
that it doesn't have to be EDM; it could just be EM.
Having an actual legit background in for real music and composition, I find it especially hard and strange to use any of these things because it is so much faster to just write out sheet music for me than to do any of this nonsense.
Yeah, almost no musical tool that's...
Or use a real synthesizer. I can do that.
Almost nothing that just... Well, with a keyboard on it, right?
Or even without a keyboard. If it's just a drum machine style synthesizer. Well, arranger, sequencer, and synthesizer combo.
I have several iOS apps that are full on. You could make crazy music with them, and people do. And I just can't even figure out what the fuck to do with them.
I have that.
I had more success with Korg on the DS than with any of these iOS things on my
Korg
iPad.
on the DS at least acts like real stuff. I know how to use it.
Yeah, but the user interface of it, you can figure it out even if you are clueless, if you're just competent, right?
To a degree, yeah.
But what is this app I have on my iPad here? What is this thing?
Yeah, you know what app I would use that I know that
Beatmaker 3. So I have Beatmaker 3 on my iPad. I think it was free or on super sale for 50 cents or something at one point. So I just got it, and I don't think it's free all the time, but it's you open this up and it's you can tell this is a serious app. It's not it's not Reason, but it's a level below that.
Yep.
But it's still, you can make real music with this.
So will you listen to it?
I can't even figure out how to make it be doom, doom, chick, doom, doom. I can't do fucking anything with it. It's the UI is just such a mess of craziness.
Granted, the last time I was actually composing music,
I'd need a tutorial or something.
I was using for a long time, up until when I just kind of stopped doing that stuff. I had a pirated copy of Cakewalk Studio, and I had a pirated copy of Cool Edit 2000.
Yeah.
And that was my final RIM is actually making real music pipeline before that ship kind of sailed.
Yeah, the one thing I always look at whenever I think, I should become a DJ is get the, what's it called? It starts with the A. What the hell's that thing?
Oh, the thing with the two
the thing where the
digital records?
You get the pad with all the squares.
I don't like that thing at all.
You get that, and you connect it to what the hell's the software called?
That thing feels like it's purely performative and isn't that useful. And it seems like the people who use it either use it to make a spectacle around it, or are DJs, or are people who don't have a classical education in music and are sort of naively deriving and making music using simpler tools that don't come from the tradition of...
Sure, but those people live the life of a world-hopping DJ, so they don't give a fuck.
Some of them do, some of them are just like Jason in The Good Place, which you haven't watched. Anyway, in the Meta Moment, we've reviewed all the anime that came out and is coming out in the fall a while ago, and it's on YouTube. And the point is, if you're new to Geek Nights, we reviewed it all before we watched any of it. So go watch some of this anime and tell us if we're right.
Oh, Ableton, that's the app.
In some other stuff, coming up sooner than you think, we are going to be at PAX Unplugged doing not one, but two events on Saturday. Learn and Win Puerto Rico. We're going to teach everyone how to play this classic board game. They're going to teach everyone how to be good at it.
A game that was the #1 game on Board Game Geek for years before it was unseated. It is still highly ranked, but,
Yeah, but it is arguably one of the most elegantly designed Euro-like style board games ever.
Yep.
And there's a reason why it gets talked about to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also going to be doing a slightly more advanced version of the 40 tabletop games you must play, because it's a Tabletop Con, we can assume the audience knows some stuff about tabletop. And if they don't, that sucks for them.
Why are they there?
Why are you at PAX Unplugged? Did you not realize it was the Unplugged PAX? That panel will also be streaming from PAX Unplugged.
Whoa.
So, yeah, if you're not at PAX Unplugged, you can watch us do a panel live. So maybe, like, one of us will fall off the stage or something. Like,
I
you
should
never
fall
know.
off the stage on purpose. I should push Rim off the stage. The book club book is
A Space Odyssey.
2001: A Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke. We just did the real Odyssey. Now we're doing the Space Odyssey. I'm still reading fantasy novels because I'm a nerd. But as soon as I finish them, I'll probably be able to read 2001: A Space Odyssey very quickly.
Yep. So, weirdly enough, somehow, Scott and I both watched our cartoon all the way to the end.
Right. So I was on a tropical island, and I don't know if you know this, but on tiny tropical islands that don't have like major cities and commerce, there aren't, I don't know how many nerds are there, but not a lot, especially not in a district full of hotels and beaches. And also, there's not really anything to do at night unless you want to drink, dance, or go to a casino. So at night, I saw lots of people, not just me. We were walking back to the hotel after, lazing by the pool after dinner, and we looked into people's rooms because their windows are open, and they were all sitting around watching TV at like 8 o'clock on a tropical island in a hotel where they were on vacation because what the fuck else are they going to do? So we went back to our hotel room and
Watch TV.
Well, I pulled out the iPad. I mean, the Wi-Fi totally worked. So we watched. We opened up the Netflix, and we're like, all right, watch a Dragon Thing. It's only like 9 episodes.
Yep, so here's the deal. The Dragon Prince is a cartoon on Netflix. It has
a Netflix original. You can only see it legally on Netflix.
It has a lot of people involved in it who were involved in Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is an A+ show. And it's pretty good. And there's only 9 episodes in the first season, so
I wonder if how many seasons it will go. Unlike some Netflix shows, they just go.
Well, I feel like it'll be a lot like
they're obviously going to have a second one at least.
It's definitely like it's following the same pattern as Avatar: The Last Airbender, and the plot at the there's going to be probably a plot that concludes and resolves everything that needs to be resolved over the course of 5 or so seasons. That's
so this show is a computer animated show, but the computer animation is like most of the time I was watching on a high resolution iPad with a small screen, and because of that, I think I didn't notice a lot of rough edges.
So it's interesting.
But I noticed them occasionally, but rarely.
It has watching on a bigger TV. It's interesting because a lot of people were complaining about the animation, and what I can basically say is that the animation is a little off-putting in the sense that the characters tend to strike pretty static poses. I think Emily pointed out once they strike a pose, they don't really ease. Like it's a thing, so they're all kind of they strike a pose, and then they just stay in that pose.
There were some weird poses, but there were also some amazing facial expressions.
Oh yeah, so the characters,
especially the girl wizard.
Oh yeah,
girl wizard has the best face.
Oh god, I already forgot her name. It is.
I don't know anyone's name.
I pulled up the.
I know no character's name.
Claudia.
Okay.
She makes good faces. The elf girl Rayla makes good faces. But the character designs are A+. Like the art is great. The animation's a little.
They're A. I don't say A+, but A.
The animation is. I'd say that at worst it's about as off-putting as the animation in Wakfu, but for different reasons.
It's way better than Wakfu.
Yeah, but
right?
it's similar.
Here's the thing: it's because it's CG, right? It's like. You don't really. It's like you're always gonna pick on it for its imperfections.
Yeah.
Right. When it's like a 3D CG.
But here's the point. One episode in,
so it looks 2D.
I stopped noticing and just really liked the show and didn't care.
It's like I didn't. It didn't stand out. It didn't interfere with the show in any way. And it's like, yeah, okay, you want to complain about this, but it's like no one complain about Toy Story. Put this next to Toy Story. Toy Story looked like garbage.
Yeah.
Right. Even though because. Toy Story's from the 90s.
Well, also what helps is the characters are good. The plot's actually pretty good and more complex than I expected.
Right, so the plot...
And the characters' motivations are all not just one-dimensional, which was interesting.
Right, I think the thing is, there are a lot of shows I complain about because they have no characters I care about at all. In this show, there's some characters that are way awesome that sort of hold the show, and there's some characters that are meh.
I think I like almost all the characters who have speaking lines.
I think
who don't you like?
So
well, no spoilers, but
so the main dude Don't like him.
I like him a lot.
He's just a boring, annoying dude.
His voice acting's really good, and he's clearly going to become a wizard.
His voice acting is like, he doesn't sound like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, but he's sort of like that same sort of like, eh.
No, well, that's the same voice actor who played Sokka, who's one of the main characters in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Whatever. He's an annoying dude. I want to smack him.
I don't know. I don't find what's annoying about him.
The best character in the whole show does not talk because they're deaf.
Oh my God! The commander, what's her name? General Amaya.
Yeah, the aunt.
The
Aunt of the princes.
It's
worth
worth noting.
Like the king's. No, it's the queen's sister, right? It's the king's sister-in-law.
It's worth noting that this show has a very good and broad set of representation.
I feel like what they must have done is just been like, okay, we want to be cool and modern. Let's make sure everyone's represented. So it's like, who can we represent? Blind people, deaf people, disabled people, diseased people, black people, white people, yellow, every color of people, every gender of people. Let's get them all in there.
But the other thing I like, they're consistent and stuff. Like the fact that the moon elves all just have like vaguely Scottish accents. Like I like that.
Yeah, that was strange.
I like that though.
I was like, wait, why are the elves Scottish?
But that's just how they are. Like I like how they just did that.
I bet we haven't seen a map of this land. Is it gonna be Great Britain and the elves live in the north?
Well, we've seen a really high level map on the right side of the island. There's elves and magic.
Is it the UK turned to the right?
And supposedly everything's great.
Is the east actually the north?
But I wonder if it's great in the same sense that the White Tower in Wheel of Time is great, and then when you get there,
All right, so here's the basic plot is a generic fantasy plot where there's the elves in a magical land in the east, and there's a human land in the other side because in the ancient times there was a war and they divided.
And then there's normal magic. Humans find shitty, evil magic that they shouldn't be touching.
Right, so there's all these good kinds of magic, that are all elemental magics, but there's also evil magic that some humans did. Elves won't do it.
Very like Wheel of Time, like that's the magic you weren't supposed to touch.
So you get the idea from this intro that they give you in like the first minute. Humans are bad, elves are good, but then the show entirely focuses on humans, and most of the humans they show you were totally good, except for the evil ones.
So I suspect, not to get any spoilers, but a lot of the humans who were introduced as good are going to become and be legit evil, and I don't even know if they'll all get redemption arcs.
I think the only one who's evil is the #1 evil guy, and even his evil I think even his evil kids are non-evil.
So I'm not gonna lie, I think Claudia in particular
that's the wizard girl who's the evil guy's daughter.
She is going to choose the evil magic that's a big part of her life.
I think she's going to choose the evil magic, but I don't think she's going to do evil things. I think she is a good person.
I think she's going to end up doing evil things.
Because above all, the thing with this show is that despite being like an excellent show for children, because like it goes...
It is a kid's show. It's aimed at kids.
It is a kid's show, and because it is a kid's show... Even though it's like, this is great for children because it is deeper than other garbage kids shows and still entertaining for an adult, it is still 100% predictable. I was basically, as you're watching, I said, this is this. And as soon as I said anything, it immediately happened. And I had never seen it before.
Yeah. Of course, Avatar was a little bit like that, too, in its first season. And then every season, it got more complex and more nuanced and started to...
Like, for example, this is not a spoiler because it is at no point confirmed to be the truth in the first season at any point. So it can't be a spoiler if it's just a prediction by me.
But your prediction might be based on things you saw later in the season.
I predicted this within like as soon as the snake appeared in the first episode. Right? Which was like 10 minutes into the show that... the king would be swapped into the bird's body.
I was, 100%. And then,
I will bet my entire fortune.
And then it lingers on this shot of the bird and the dude talking to it.
I will bet my entire fortune that the king has been swapped into the body of the bird. Yep. I figured that out as soon as they said, they basically like, we have a snake. It has 2 heads. If the 2 heads bite 2 things, the souls of the 2 things will be swapped. And there's a king standing there who's awesome, by the way.
Oh, that king is both awesome and the hottest character in the show.
Yes. And he reminds me of the pirate from...
yeah.
Anyway.
I was going to ask you because I felt similarly.
And the king has a pet bird.
Also, definitely some sexual tension between him and the wizard guy.
Yes, the king has a pet bird who is also awesome.
Yep.
And as soon as I saw the king with a pet bird and a 2-headed snake that swaps souls between 2 beings, I said, the king will be swapped with the bird. And while it was never confirmed at any point in the first season, I will bet every dollar that is in my possession that is the case.
Yep, and the show does not explicitly say it, but...
Oh, and the money cannot be awarded to anyone who writes for this show.
Yeah.
Who could then, in the second season, find a way to write their way out of that and make more money. No.
So the basic story is pretty good. Like, it's a typical fantasy story, but basically the humans got the evil magic, and then they decided to go invade the other side of the planet and be jerks. And the dragons were like, nope, fucking stop it. I'm not letting this happen. And they used the evil magic to kill the king of the dragons and his son.
Well, his son who's still in an egg.
Yeah, they broke into dragon egg.
So now
the
elves,
last king of the dragons, his prince son, is dead.
So now,
and now I follow these human princes.
Now the elves want to get revenge, so there's the badass king.
Perfectly, like, honestly, the elven justification for this assassination, pretty fucking justified.
Right, so the elves are coming. They're like, "Hey, you killed the king
well,
of
moon
the
elves
king
at
of,
least.
Right, you killed the king of the dragons and the egg, his son. So we're gonna come and kill the king.
We're gonna kill your king.
We're gonna kill the human king and
his
son. And basically,
symmetry, eh?
Right. So the show starts where the assassin moon elves are coming. The humans find out that they're coming, and they're like, "Well, I guess you're dead because we can't stop moon elves. They're too strong."
Yep.
And
so,
then the show goes from there.
Yeah, and not really. It's the first episode, like, right away. But spoilers: the egg wasn't actually smashed, and there's a dragon prince, and that's the whole show is going to be about that. They're trying to get the dragon prince's egg home to the dragon queen, who is still alive.
Right. Obviously, the human king's vizier is the bad guy like Jafar.
Yeah.
The only thing about him that I can say is, because, I mean, really?
He thinks
the vizier is the bad guy again. The only thing about him that I can say...
One, him and the king were definitely fucking.
Oh, yeah. But the only thing I can say about him is that I like how he actually can put on an act of being a good guy at sometimes.
Whenever
as opposed
there's a
to,
show,
say, Jafar, who is always like, I am evil.
Yep.
Occasionally, he's like, I am pretending to be good, and I'm doing a good job of pretending to be good.
I am always impressed when there's an evil character who lies convincingly in a show.
Yes, and that led to the best moment in the entire first season when the best character, the general who cannot hear.
Oh my God, she is so awesome.
She says the evil guy is lying convincingly, and she says, "Bring me a stable boy. I have found a pile of bullshit."
Yep.
Well, she signs it.
Yeah.
The interpreter.
But I love
that line was the funniest line.
That's the other thing I like about this show.
It is that there are funny times.
In general, like, there are some stupid characters, but characters who aren't written to be stupid are smart and figure stuff out that you as the viewer have also figured out, and it skips a lot of the tropes that a show like this could follow of, like, everyone being fooled by the wizard. Like, no, almost everyone is not fooled by the wizard.
Yep. But yeah, the show is humorous. It is good at the humors.
Yep. There's a lot of really funny bits. There's good, like, the drama's pretty good. The characters make plans and follow them for good reasons.
Yep.
Like, I like this show.
The only thing you can't get from the show is unpredictability, because if you are an intelligent person who can see foreshadowing, you will know everything that is going to happen well before it happens, and then you will watch it happen.
Yep.
But you will still be entertained because the characters that are good will be entertaining and fun to watch. You care about them to some extent. There'll be funny times. There'll be some action scenes that are, all right.
Yeah, they come and go. They're mostly pretty good. None of them are really bad. There's not a lot of Monster of the Week nonsense either. Like, it moves along pretty quick.
It's definitely not Monster of the Week. It's definitely a quest kind of structure.
Yep.
Right.
And it does. Every conflict that occurs has stakes that matter to the story.
A lot more like Galaxy Express kind of situation. We got to get from here to there.
Yeah.
Right?
So
not we gotta we stay in one place and bad guys come.
Also, frankly, Hot Elves, Hot Humans, Dragon, like, the show's up my alley, and I'm going to watch the rest of it. I'll at least definitely watch the second season.
I mean, I'll probably end up watching it, but it's not like I'm going to run to watch it.
I mean, Avatar is a show. Like, it's a great show, but it's done and we've seen it all. And it also, not only was it good, but it got better with every season. So the real test of the Dragon Prince is if season 2 improves upon this base.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it improves at the rate that Avatar did, the final seasons of the show are going to be A+. Because Avatar season 1 has a lot of the similar issues to what this show's season 1 has.
I think it comes down to
You should watch Avatar, Scott. It is really, really good.
Yeah. So I think with this show, its goodness level in the future is going to come down to, like, how many seasons it has, right?
If I had to guess,
because
5
that will determine. Because right now,
or 6. How many kinds of magic are there? There will be a number of seasons equal to the number of kinds of magic, with a plus or minus 1, because the final season might be the evil, shitty human magic.
Because the pacing of season 1 was really good in terms of how things moved along.
Avatar's like that too. Avatar just like stuff happens, it just keeps moving.
You can only keep that pace up so long without reaching the Elven Land, and once you've reached the Elven Land, I assume they're going to bring the dragon egg all the way there.
Unless, like in the Wheel of Time and like in Escaflowne,
it's a children's show. They're going to succeed in their quest.
Yeah, but
bring it all the way there.
But I'm saying
you can't have too much more content after that point.
Yes, you can, because I am confident that there will be drama in the Elven Lands that we have not seen yet.
That would make thinking about that makes me go like.
There's probably like some elves that want to invade the human lands.
I want them to reach the Elven Land, and then ta-da! We have reached the climax. And then
what will the climax be? Now the Dragon Prince is here. The humans still have their shitty magic.
Some sort of resolution.
Yeah.
The end.
I mean, the show will definitely resolve itself.
If it drags on, then I will stop caring.
So I'll bet there'll be a number of seasons equal to the number of types of magic.
You can quest your way to the Elven Land for a season or 3 more.
Plus, there's 2 ways to go if you got to keep a show moving. You either just end it.
Good.
Or like right away. Or you Escaflowne it.
The other problem
and just keep escalating and escalating, and eventually Isaac Newton shows up.
Well, the other problem could be if they do to Netflix, it ends too soon, and they either A, rush an ending, which won't be good, or B, cut it short and you don't get resolved and get to the Elven Land, which that would be some bullshit.
I think it's doing well enough to where it's gonna just continue.
We'll see.
Let's see. Release. Season 2 is definitely confirmed for 2019.
Season 2 is 100% confirmed. They can't not. They made look. Just if you watch season 1, you know they already made season 2, but season 3 I think may be in question.
Yeah, I suspect it'll make it all the way to its end, though. Based on the popularity I've seen so far, and the fact that the season is relatively short, like 9 episodes, if you do 6 or so seasons of about 9 episodes each, that's actually a pretty good number of episodes.
The fact that they moved this much in 9 episodes, we watched it in one sitting, and it wasn't even late, is that in 3 seasons, you've got 1827. That's 1 season of anime, right? So that's why I think like wrapping it up in 3 seasons would be like way good. If they wrapped it up even in less than 5, that would be like super good.
No, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be new like stakes we don't know about yet. It'll escalate.
Because that would be close to like the 48 episode area, right?
Yeah, 52 episodes seems like it's still like that's my magic number of.
That's getting a little long in the tooth at the 52.
Anything that goes beyond 52 had better have a really goddamn good reason for going longer than 52.
Like it better be Fist of the North Star.
Yeah, Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon if you're going to go that long.
But yeah, this is definitely.
Or Galaxy Express.
This is definitely worth watching a few episodes of to see if you like it.
I feel like if you got Netflix and you're saying, I want to watch a thing that I haven't watched before, this is 9 episodes. You should choose this. If you're an anime nerd or someone who watches animation, you should not buy Netflix to watch this. You should not watch this if you don't like fantasy or animation.
Also, I get the only thing I'm disappointed in is that if we are right, and the king is in the bird, then we lost the awesome hot king body, and now he's just in the hot bird body instead. Well, I feel like the king body is hotter.
There could be some sort of saving for that king body that was not revealed, but there was no foreshadowing of any way to save the king body.
I worry we're never going to get him back in his proper hot king body.
I think you could just be saved by fiat dragon magic by the end in the
I wonder what I think like the big turning point in the show is going to be either some elves that don't want the prince to be found because they want to start the war themselves with the humans,
it's like at the beginning of the show they're like, "Whoa, humans are using the bad magic. They're bad," but then at the end, once they get to the Elven Land, it's going to be like, "Oh, look, there's some bad elves," even though they're not using evil magic.
So far, we've only met like one kind of elf.
The moon elf.
Yeah.
No, we met 2 kinds of elf.
Oh, yeah.
They're all magical.
I also did enjoy that, like, there's that side bit where the elf, there's mustache guy, and she, like, totally punks him.
I thought mustache,
I thought he would be cool, and he's just a shithead.
Well, that's actually one thing I can say. The only prediction I made that was wrong was when mustache guy appeared. I said, he's going to join the party, and then he didn't join the party.
Not only did he not join the party, but...
I do think, though... he will reappear, much like, say, those guys in Star Wars who don't like you.
Yep. I like how she didn't even steal his stupid sword.
She didn't want this.
She was just like, I don't want your sword. What's wrong with you? Never mind. Jeez. So, yeah, this is worth watching, and it's really good. And at some point, maybe we'll do a spoiler episode, but we'll probably wait for another season to come out.
Why would we spoil something that's 9 episode long?
Yeah, we'll wait for at least after season 2. We'll probably do an episode where we talk about it.
Discuss because like it's not like there's not really a lot of metaphor going on in the show to discuss.
But I think the other big turning point I predict,
it's just an adventure.
I foresee the Dragon Queen not doing what we expect, not having the same motivations as what we might expect, and being a big monkey wrench in the overall plot. I think the meeting of the Dragon Queen is going to be like a big moment where the show swerves, is my guess. That's just like that's pure speculation. I can't say that I have any specific thing that I'm pointing at for that. I just think that's going to be a big turning point.
She's not going to be like, oh, thank you for bringing my egg. You are wonderful.
I don't know. Maybe she wants revenge anyway. Maybe she's mad. I don't know. I don't know what her deal's going to be. I feel like she's going to have a deal that's not just, I am now the Dragon Queen. All right. We're done. Good show.